just don't get them. It doesn't seem to be doing anything. Apparently just want to watch myself fail over and over again, which is super great for morale. I'm just panicking. Hello friends, and welcome back to my channel. Today I am going to be talking about plants that I am struggling with. So this video was actually voted for by my patrons, kind of. The #1 vote in this poll was for trying plant hacks, but the plant hacks that I found that I wanted to try are a bit more long-term. So I can't start it and finish it this month. So I went with the second most requested one, which was plants I am struggling with right now. And yeah, it's true, we all struggle. No one is a perfect plant parent, especially when you have like 200 plants in your home. You're gonna struggle. Even if you've only got 40 plants in your home or 20 plants in your home, you might be struggling with some. And it's just all part of the learning process. So I figured it'd be good to share with you all what some of the plants I am struggling with are and how I'm struggling. And then maybe if you have answers, you can give me advice. Because I need out on some of these. But yeah, so thanks patrons for picking this video out. If you want to have your say in my content, come join the Good Growing fam and you can help pick videos that I put on my channel and get other bonus content, but like that's the main thing right now in this video. Before I get into the plants that I am struggling with right now, I wanted to say, if you are new here and you don't know who I am, hi, my name is Emma and I make houseplanting content all over the internet. So if you want to follow along with my houseplanting journey and maybe learn something along the way, stick around, watch some more of my videos, and subscribe to my channel. If you are not new here, thanks for coming back. I hope you also enjoy seeing me struggle. Right, let's get into it. Oh gosh, where to begin? I think I'm going to start with this one because it's one that I've kind of always struggled with in general. So this is a Peperomia Frost. And I was super duper duper proud of myself for being able to grow this plant from propagation. I grew this plant from like a single leaf or two, and I mean it's a plant now, which is super exciting. It grew so much, but then it kind of just like stopped growing and started going all like bleached. I think it might be like it was in too bright of an area, or like it was too close to the grow light or something, maybe, but honestly, it's not that close to a grow light, and the grow lights it's under are the fluorescent ones I have, which aren't the strongest ones in my collection, so I don't know, it just feels like a bit weird that it's kind of stunted itself. I don't know, do I need to put it in a bigger pot? There's like quite a lot of plants inside of there. You can see there's tons of little sprouties growing, and there's also like dead leaves in there that I can't get out. But I just don't really know where I'm going wrong with Peperomia in general. I've never properly been able to keep one alive. I do have one Caparata, I forgot which type it is, but I'll put a picture in, that is doing really well, but it's underneath a cloche. So I'm thinking maybe it's really loving the humidity, but it's in essentially the same place as this one and not bleaching. So I don't know why this is happening, because this plant is supposed to be beautifully silver blue toned, and it kind of is, but it's just going a bit too yellow for my liking. So I have actually moved this one. I moved it from the office on my plant shelves to here. It lives underneath my TV all the time now, so it's not getting bright grow light. It doesn't get any grow light. Oh, I literally just dropped a leaf. It doesn't get any grow light at all, and just kind of gets environmental light, which I'm hoping is better for it. And if it's here in the living room, kind of right in front of the TV, I can see it quite frequently and hopefully notice better when it is looking unhappy or something. The soil feels a little bit dry, so maybe I need to give it a water. But yeah, I've never been able to actually keep one of these growing big and happy like I want to be able to. Like, I just don't get them, and they don't get me. and I don't know what I'm doing wrong. Maybe they need more water than I think they do. Oh gosh, I'm dropping leaves left and right. But yeah, maybe they need more water than I think they do. But I don't know, it's confusing me right now, and I don't really know what to do. I feel like that's going to be a theme among a lot of these, is that I'm just not really sure where I'm going wrong, because I have tried other ones in the same way and they work, and so I don't know. But yeah, I would greatly appreciate tips for Peperomia, because this is the year of my Peperomia trying. I just got that Sarcophylla, which I'm super excited about. I have my Ice Queen, which I really, really love as well. And I just really want them to succeed. I just don't know. I don't know where I'm going wrong. So I think it might require a bit more research from me and some time to figure it out, and some help from you maybe. So yeah, look at this. Tell me what's wrong with my plant, please. I have no idea. Oh gosh, okay, so that's that one. The next one that I'm struggling with, I will talk about this one. Okay, well, oh, I'm gonna have to repot this one. I'm struggling in so many ways with this one. But this thing right here, which I've just ripped out of the soil, I really hope I didn't break too many roots. This is a Monstera Dubia, and oh my goodness, I just cannot get my head around this plant. I have tried propagating so many dubias, because they've been quite expensive in the past. I think their prices are going down massively now, but because they've been so expensive in the past, it's been a plant that I was like, oh, I'll try and propagate it so I can try and grow one for cheaper, because getting a big one would cost like upwards of 60, 70, 80, 100 pounds. And I'm like, I don't have that kind of money to spend on a plant that I'm not familiar with yet. So I've not bought one. Now I think you can get them for about 30, so I'm like really tempted. And that's like a big one for 30 pounds. So I'm quite tempted to get one, because I'm just really struggling with the propagation of these. This is like probably the third or fourth time I've tried to propagate a Monstera Dubia. And basically I got this leaf in a swap, and I put it in my prop box, and it rooted a little bit. It had like one long root. The roots never grew roots. They never like branched out. It just kind of had one long root and wasn't really doing anything. Wasn't putting out any new growth. Like it was kind of pathetic, but it was in there for like, I swear, 6 months without really doing anything. And so I was like, okay, fine. It's time to try something different. This isn't working out. And so I put the leaf into a pot of soil, and finally it started to sprout, and it created this long sort of small leafed runner. You can see I've zigzagged it back and forth across the pole here, and I probably should have potted it up sooner, but it was kind of hiding from me in my cabinet. It grew like behind the grid, and so I didn't quite realize how long it had gotten until it was quite long. And so I think I repotted this a month or two ago onto a pole, which I think is a great idea. I love a pole. And hoped and prayed that I would be able to get it to shingle and grow bigger. And I mean, I think I've got it to shingle, maybe. Like this leaf here looks like it's starting to grow flatter. Maybe this one, I don't know. But it's not getting any bigger, which I'm confused about, because I have been keeping this moss pole fairly moist. Maybe not as moist as it needs. Maybe I'm keeping the soil too moist. Maybe I'm ripping the moss pole out of the pot and just overall failing at that. This is why I attach my moss poles to my nursery pots, because I like to lift them out quite easily. And when I don't, it is kind of catastrophic because it rips the plant. Yeah, I just don't really know what I can do to help this one. Like, I can't see any roots growing in the back of the pole like I could with some other things, but I just don't know, because I like the Dubia vibe. I think they're really cool. It's just not been something that has grown well for me, and I've been trying to grow one for like, I think probably at least a year or two now, and this is the furthest I've gotten. So yeah, I just really, I'm not sure what the best course of action is, if I should leave it on this and see what happens, and maybe if it gets to the top of the pole I can chop and restart it so it's not got all this zigzag BS in here. I don't know, nothing seems to go right, and they seem to grow so slowly that I'm confused and I don't know what to do. So yeah, there's that one. And now I need to repot it. Go me, I need to set it somewhere where it's not gonna fall over and die. Up next, I think I'm going to talk about this one, which makes me super sad. Look how sad that looks. So this is my Alocasia Brancifolia Pink Passion, which I freaking love. I adore this plant, and for a while it was growing really, really well for me and pushing out new growth. And then I think maybe it's gone into dormancy over the winter, maybe I'm not doing something right, but essentially it started losing more and more leaves and sort of like really heavily going into the one in and one out sort of alocasia thing, which happens sometimes, but now it's just down to one leaf, and I feel like it looks kind of sad like this. When I got it, it had such beautiful, like, I think it had like 2 or 3 or 4 leaves, and it was just so pretty and lovely and happy, and I'm hoping it's just dormancy, and that when the spring comes around and that it's like a lot lighter, that it'll be fine. But that being said, this one's living in my Redsta cabinet, so it's getting Jungle Dawn grow light, I think for like 15 hours a day, which is plenty. Maybe too much? Am I giving it too much light? I don't know. I've got it in pond, and it seems to be happy rootage wise. Like, it has rooted very well in there. It's got a lot of roots, so I'm just not sure. I think I could have also underwatered it a bit, because it's not in like a proper self-watering pot. When it's in one of these like sort of makeshift self-watering pots, I tend to struggle a little bit more with keeping the water at a consistent level, and sometimes it does get slightly too dry, and so that is something that I need to work on for myself. I would really, really love to find a good self-watering pot that's about this size, that's like not terrible. I think that's the problem. I've not found any good ones that aren't super expensive either, because I could get choose a pot to put it in, but they tend to be quite expensive, so maybe I should wait until like my birthday or Christmas and then ask for some Lechuza pots for that, or what, because the Elho pot, the smallest self-watering insert, is 17 centimeters, which is just too big for something of this size. I don't think it would enjoy it right off the bat. I think it would prefer something that's like 10-12 centimeters to start. So Elho, if you're watching this video, which you might not be, but if you are, can you please, 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 please make smaller self-watering inserts, because I would buy all of them. I'm not joking. I love your self-watering inserts, and so please, please. But yeah, this is one of the few alocasias right now that I'm actually struggling with. I tend to be pretty good with most of them, even in this sort of system, so I'm not too sure about it, and I think that's the problem. Maybe I needed to do a bit more research before just like chucking it in a cabinet and crossing my fingers, which I do with a lot of plants, and like a lot of the time it works out, so it's fine, just because I'm generally an okay plant parent, but sometimes things struggle and we don't know why, and this is one of them. And I think I might be losing this leaf as well, because it's going ever so slightly yellow, which might be just like sunburn from the light being too bright. maybe I'll move it into a cabinet like here. Now that it's not as like big and spread out, I could probably move it into the Mills bow where the light's not quite as bright, especially at the bottom because the light is further away. So it's a possibility. I'm just still not quite sure what I want to do with it, but it's really sad because I love, love, love this Alocasia because it's just so different and funky and weird, and I really enjoy it. So hopefully I can get it to perk back up come springtime. I've got my fingers crossed for it, got everything crossed for it because I do love this plant so much. I mean, I really, really like all of these plants and I really want to see all of them succeed. It's just sometimes things don't work for everybody. So yeah. Next up, I'm going to talk about my Cissus Discolor, which I was so proud of. Like in the winter time last year, it was growing so well, the best it had ever been. I was so proud of it. It had grown so much over the course of 2022 and early 2021. I think I must have underwatered it while I was away for Christmas or something like that, and it just did not handle that well. Cissus really struggle being underwatered, and so be very careful about that. You do want to make sure that they are staying at least somewhat moist pretty much all the time, which for me as a chronic underwaterer, that's not the easiest for me, but I'm working on it. We're working on being a better plant parent. But it meant that my entire plant basically shriveled up except for the top tiny little bit. And so I chopped and propped these ones, and I have them in water here, and they are rooted. And I think my goal is to put them into semi-hydro this time, because I've tried this twice in soil and it's been fine, but the underwatering issue is a problem. If I put it in semi-hydro, I have a better chance of it staying moist because I have really small self-watering pots that I could use, like the small 9cm ones. And so I think this will be a perfect candidate for that, and then I could put some sort of pole in it again and hope and pray that it works out, because I do really love this plant. I think it's so cool, the little purple backs of the leaves and the coloring. I mean, this one doesn't look the healthiest right now just because it's not, but I would really love to get this one going again because it was genuinely one of my favorite plants of 2022, and it's just a bit sad that I kind of ruined it for myself. So yeah, I'm struggling with this one. This is my, I suppose, third attempt now with this one. The thing is, sometimes you just gotta keep trying. You've just gotta keep trying, and eventually you might get it, and eventually you might not. It might just be one of those plants that will forever elude you, but I think giving it a go, as long as the plant's not super expensive or like super precious, giving it a go and experimenting is the best way to learn, and we're gonna learn, we're gonna try, and we're gonna get it eventually, but for now, it's gonna be sad. I think I'm gonna talk about the Verrucosum next. I have kind of generally struggled with Philodendron Verrucosums. I have, I think, 3 of them, and I've never been able to get them to kind of size up past like this big. Unfortunately, I'm not sure why. I've got some on poles, I've got some not on poles, I've chopped this one back to nothing, and so this one is doing okay, save for this leaf, which I should probably just pull off. Good job. I mean, it's kind of pretty though, in a weird way. But yeah, they just don't size up. I don't know if I'm not treating them right or something. I've also found that they are very pest prone. They're one of my most pest prone philodendrons. I think because their leaves are a bit more on the thin side and they've got these sort of hairy petioles where pests can hide in that. It might just be a sort of thing with this plant that they end up getting a bit more pesty than others because they have better places to hide. But yeah, I've just kind of struggled to keep them happy. All of them look a bit like this, a bit scraggly. Even the one that I've got on a moss pole isn't looking great. So I'm not quite sure where I want to go with Verrucosums. Like, I've got, I think, 3 different types. I don't know what any of them are because they're all slightly different. But I think, I keep thinking I want to join them all together because I'm like, well, then I only have one plant that I really need to care about instead of 3 different ones that are all struggling in different ways. So maybe if I put them all together, but at the same time, I don't necessarily want to do that, and I just really am unsure about what to do. And maybe this is something that I need to try harder on this year, keeping my Verrucosums happy. Maybe it's an underwatering thing, maybe it's not enough light, maybe I'm not careful enough about pests, maybe I don't know. But basically I really want them to succeed because I love the velvety, sort of super striking veiny leaves, the red backs. I think they're such gorgeous plants and like so stunning, but I just haven't been able to get it to size up and grow bigger. I think I've struggled in general with getting my plants to size up, and I'm not exactly sure why. I've tried grow lights, I've tried moss poles, and I'm working on it. It's maybe an underwatering thing, but I just really want to be able to get my plants to grow big and beautiful, and especially a plant like this Verrucosum, or any Verrucosum. It's a goal that I have that I may or may not ever succeed with. But for now, I'm just stuck with a bunch of these small, scraggly ones that I don't know what to do with. Should I put this on a pole now? Is now a good time to do that? So it's on a pole now, so it starts early? Like, when do you think? What do you think? All advice appreciated. Please help. I don't know what to do. So this next one is quite confusing because it's done absolutely frickin' nothing for the time I've had it. Absolutely nothing. So this is my Anthurium Warocqueanum, which I got from the Rare Houseplant Festival up in Leeds in August this past year. And I basically got it with these 2 beautiful leaves, which are fantastic. I mean, this one has got a bit of damage on it, which I have cut previously, but it just kind of kept going. So I'm not too sure about that. I might have to cut it again. It might be fungal. I've got no idea. I don't really mind. That doesn't bother me that much. As long as it's not spraying the whole leaf and I'm losing the whole leaf, it's fine. But it's just not grown at all, and I don't know why. Like, I've had it for so long, and there's just no sign of it popping out new growth at all. No inflorescence. Not that I think it would fluoresce, but like, there's just, it doesn't seem to be doing anything, which makes me quite sad. Maybe I should repot it. It's got like hella roots. I'm not worried that it's like unhealthy because it's got so many roots in there. It doesn't need a bigger pot. I'm just not sure what to do about it because I've got it in the Millsbow. It's getting lots of light, it's getting humidity. I try and water it at a normal amount. I probably need to give this one water again, actually. Yeah, it's about time. But it's just not doing anything, and it makes me so sad because this was one of my wishlist plants. I'd wanted this plant for literally years. It's my favorite freaking Anthurium. Well, it's not my favorite. It would be my favorite if it grew, but since it's not growing, it's not. And I just really want to see it succeed, and I feel like I'm failing it, if that makes sense, which is kind of sad because this is such a stunning plant. Like, look at these huge, big, lovely, velvety leaves. Why doesn't it want to grow for me? Is it a me problem? Or is it just the plant didn't have good genes, or what? I don't know what I can do to encourage more growth in it. I've fertilized it, as I do with any of my other houseplants. It's not got pests, I don't think. Even though I had thrips in the cabinet, it didn't get them, I don't think. I've thoroughly checked it a couple times now, and I don't see any on it, so I just don't understand why it's not doing anything, and it's confusing me, and I just want it to grow, and it's not growing. But yeah, that's what I'm struggling with, which is a shame because it's like, oh, one of the most beautiful plants I've ever seen in my entire life, and it's just not doing anything for me, so who knows? I've got two more. This one is my Epipremnum Skeleton Key. This gorgeous little thing. I love, love, love these weird skeleton key shaped leaves. They're so fascinating and so weird, but it's just unkeying itself, and I don't know why. Like, the leaves were getting smaller and smaller. I've had it on the pole. I think maybe it's to do with not keeping the pole wet enough, and so that's a me problem. I can try to do better with that, but it's just kind of reverted back to the typical Epipremnum shaped leaves, which is really sad for me because the whole point of getting a skeleton key is to get it to be this crazy, weird, funky shape, and I feel like I've gone backwards with it, and I just wanted to go forwards. It's definitely rooting into this pole. Like, I don't, look at that root. It's super rooted in there. So it's not like it's not feeling supported. It is like definitely stuck in, like in there. It's definitely going into the pole. So I just really want to see it succeed. I think that's just the thing with all of these plants. I really want to see them succeed, and I'm trying my best to make that happen. And unfortunately, things just aren't going the way I want them to. And I mean, that happens. Things aren't always going to go the way you want them to. Nothing is perfect. No one's a perfect plant parent. But yeah, so I'm hoping if I can keep this pole a bit more moist and maybe put it in a brighter spot or something like that, then I can get it to continue growing. I do have a cup on top of here. The pole looks dry, but it's really not. It's got some moisture in there still. I should probably water it today though, just to make sure that it stays moist. I think being on top of watering your moss poles is kind of one of the most important things with them, because you really, really, really want them to stay nice and moist. Otherwise it kind of defeats the purpose and they won't grow. Maybe I'll do it with fertilizer water as well, to hope that it gets into these roots and soaks up and has more energy to make the bigger, better, beautiful key leaves. Oh, I'm just panicking. I don't know what's going on, and it's really sad because my other skeleton key that I had before that I gave away to Claire, I gave it away to her because it wasn't keying. It was just climbing up the pole, and all of the leaves looked not even like this. This one has that little notch at the end. They just look like normal Epipremnum leaves. But then once I gave it to Claire, it started to key a little bit, and I think she's getting somewhere with it, but I don't know. I don't know. We'll see. We'll see. Maybe I'll come back at you in 6 months showing you how these plants have improved and or died. And hopefully I'll be able to say that I've figured some of them out and gotten them to do what I wanted them to do, because that would be very freaking cool if I could. And then the last plant I have is one I have been struggling with my entire plant career. This is a Begonia Maculata, I think. Some sort of polka dot begonia. And I don't know why it looks so ugly. Like, begonias, they're not my favorite, but I do really like this sort of polka dotty ones. It's the like Rex begonias that aren't as much my vibe. But it's just so pale. Like, it's almost looking anemic in its coloring. It's not that sort of bold green that I thought they should be. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe I'm just misremembering what they're supposed to look like. But this one is just, a bit of a sad one, and I've, like, you can see how many leaves I've lost throughout the bottom there. I've got it on a stake because otherwise it's just like, and that was a lot less pretty, so I've got that. The only way I've ever been able to keep any begonia, like even this much alive, has been in semi-hydro, so I have it in that, and hopefully it's liking that. I don't really see any roots coming out the bottom of it, which I normally probably would at this point, so I don't know if it's happy or not, but I don't think it looks happy. To me, this doesn't look like a happy, healthy plant, and I don't know what I'm doing wrong. I've asked for begonia advice so many freaking times on here, on Instagram, and I try and put what y'all say into practice, and nothing ever really changes. So, I don't know, maybe I should prune it? I've heard pruning is good for begonias. So, yeah, I'm just really not sure, and I'm like actually really tempted to re-propagate it lower, so like let all of this root and then it be a bushier plant. Or do I just have like weird expectations of begonias that aren't real? Because it could be a problem with me managing my expectations. So yeah, I'm just not sure about it, and I don't know if I like it enough to keep it. I'm keeping it because I'm trying to understand it and get it to grow better, but it's one of those things where the more I fail with it, the less I want to try again. And so I feel like the begonias, this one might be one of the ones that if this one doesn't work, it might be my last. I'm not sure about it. I say that a lot and then I keep trying because I'm a masochist. Not actually a masochist, but you know what I mean. I apparently just want to watch myself fail over and over again, which is super great for morale, but yeah, I would love to see this be a happy plant because I think they're really cool. Is it a humidity thing? Like, I feel like the tips of the leaves being dry and crispy might mean it's too low of humidity, because my white ice was in my super humid pond box, and I've now put it into the mail swell here because this was the only place it was going to fit, and the next highest humid place. So I've got it in there. I don't know if it's happy in there. I think it might throw a bit of a fit that I've moved it, but we will see. I'll keep y'all updated on that one. Who knows? But yeah, I don't know. I don't know what to do. I feel like this one just, it confuses me, and I don't know if I care enough to do anything about it. Which maybe tells me that I shouldn't have this plant anymore. We'll see. We'll see, we'll see, we'll see. I don't know what's gonna happen. So yeah, those are some of the plants that I'm struggling with at the minute. I feel like I could probably make another one of these videos if this is something that you all want. There's always something I'm working on or trying to learn or get better at. So if you like this kind of thing and seeing that not everybody is perfect, give me a shout, let me know down below. Maybe put the like falling leaf emoji, this one, because then I know that you like this kind of thing. Because I think it's very important to share that things aren't always perfect, especially with like Instagram culture and stuff like that. It's super easy to share just the plants that are doing really well, that are putting out new leaves, that are happy and healthy and lovely. And I mean, I'm guilty of that as well, because it's like, these are the plants I'm super proud of and excited about in this moment. And it's important to remember that not everything looks as perfect as it does on Instagram. It's never 100%. There's always something going on. So I can make more of these going forward if this is something that you would like. So yeah, thank you so much for watching. Thanks to my patrons for voting for this video and telling me to share these with all of you. Speaking of patrons and my Patreon, I want to say a huge thank you to my new patrons. So thank you so much, Sonia, Ivana, Nikki C, and Simone Elizabeth, for joining the Good Growing fam. Welcome. I really hope you enjoy it over there and enjoy all of the content that I'm sharing there as well. So yeah, that is it. I think I'm going to sign off now and go repot that dubia because I ruined it. So yeah. Thank you all so much for watching. I really appreciate it. If you like this video, please give it a thumbs up down below and leave a comment on other houseplanty things you'd like me to talk about in the future, as well as advice. As you can see, I need it. And don't forget to subscribe for more as well. Thank you again so much for watching, and I will see you next time. Bye!